Alright, it is Long Beach this week. I enjoy this track. Any tracks with walls, pretty much, I like. Um, I'm currently using my qualifying setup. It is, it'll be posted on the Discord. There's a couple changes in this compared to the setup that I had that I made for Season 4 last year. There's still a couple changes I would like to make, or at least I would like to try. Time permitting, if I get around to it this week. So we're on the last couple corners, keeping it tight left here, so you open up the hairpin as much as possible. Sweeping across the track left to right to make sure you can hug the wall as much as possible. Braking just after, or just at the end of the dark patch of asphalt. Into first for the fountain. Back up into second through this sector. Cutting as much of this curb as you can. Any more than that, you're risking a slowdown. Braking just before the 300 there. And then just before the 300 here. Trying to turn early on that right-hander and get on the throttle before the apex to carry speed down the straight. Braking just at the 500. Staying towards the middle of the track to open up entry to this, and then staying left before the hairpin. Not a great hairpin. But a decent lap. See if I can improve here.
That last lap was at 116.8. You're now
Careful not to go too far right here on pit exit, because you can pick up a black flag there. Little lock up. Slow through the fountain. Gotta be careful there. Car got a little unsettled over those curbs, so I had to be touchy on the throttle, or else I would have just slid out to the wall. This lap won't be an improvement, but the first lap was decent. I think that was a good example of what can happen over those curbs sometimes, getting the car unsettled. And still not a great hairpin.
That lap time was 117.
The first lap wasn't too bad though.
0.6, slower than your best.
Go ahead and look at a little bit of replay. I'll just go ahead and show a replay of my fastest lap of this session, which is 0.2 faster than that first lap I just did. So, yeah, coming down turn 1, trying to keep it a little tighter than that. If you turn in at the right time here, you don't have to track out as much as I did here. It's fine in qualifying when you're the only person on the track, but it can get a little chaotic with Nissans if you're moving this far off the wall. It invites them to try to pass you on the right, which causes more chaos as you're trying to move back to the right to set up for the next corner. And if they're passing you tight on the left, you might just push straight into them. So not ideal. The car, you might scrub a little bit and maybe lose half of a tenth by keeping it tighter on the wall in the race, but definitely worth it. Then coming through here, looking the middle to the end of this dark patch of asphalt, and you really have to be careful not to cross too far over this pit exit line. You see, I'm only half a car here. If you go, I'm not sure what the rules are on it. If it's like all four tires, I'd probably need to test it in an official session. But I know you definitely will get black flagged for that if you cross over too far. Into second gear, avoiding the higher part of the curb. I took a little too much of it there. I want to be a tire width further out. Hugging the wall. Braking basically right as I'm about to hit the limiter. Honestly, brake marker hasn't really crossed my mind for this corner. It's kind of just a timing thing in my head. Into first, hugging this wall to try to open up the right-hander around the fountain. Here, I'm looking kind of the start of the white paint and the end of the yellow paint. It's where visually I'm looking here to be my brake point. Into second gear. Again, here you want to avoid the top part of the curb, but take the flatter part of the curb. Here, there's not much to go off of. I'm looking at the arrows, the road markers, and going just a beat after I go over the first one. Feels like about halfway, but I guess a little bit earlier than halfway between them. Into second, cutting a lot of this curb. Really have to just kind of try it a bunch for yourself to see where the slowdown is. This is dangerously close to a slowdown. But you can, this compared to half a car width to the left saves 2/10 at least. Just because you hit it in the middle and it unsettles the car. You hit it too far left and you're understeering straight into the wall. It's really hard to. This is probably aside from the hairpin, the hardest corner on the track, in my opinion, to get perfect. Up to the gears, up to fourth, and then just before the 300, braking into second. Didn't quite hit the apex here. Trying to get turned in a little earlier so that way can carry more speed. But I see here I'm not fully on the throttle until after the apex, so still more to be had from even my fastest lap. And then right before the 300 again, into second, trying to go over this curb and as close to this wall as possible. Already on the throttle before I'm at the apex, just trying to carry speed down the straight. Whoops. And then looking for the 500, braking at maybe just before. If you're braking really well, you can brake just after. I've had some practice laps where I'm braking just after the 500 and I have a really good sector. Also depends on how much speed you're carrying from the previous corner. Into second here, using the flat, maybe slightly touching the raised curbs, but not too much because it can unsettle the car a lot. Into second, not tracking all the way out. I want to stay kind of towards the middle to open up the next corner easier. Into second, just kind of feathering the throttle, getting it around here, but staying as far left as possible to open up entry to the hairpin. And I'll look at this real quick. The dangers of this corner. I got a little bit, the rears were a little bit off balance already as I was going into this corner. And then when I hit those, I had to, I even touched the wall a little bit. I couldn't get on the throttle. Still half throttle, because it's just pushing straight left. If I got on the throttle as hard as I did on other laps here, then I would have just been straight into the wall. So you really have to be careful over these bumps. I've rambled too long. Good luck this week.